Today on Magehammer's game table, it's Space Weirdos, a skirmish heartbreaker by Garske Games. Okay, I have played 3 games leading up to this, and I'm ready to go. Teams are on the field. It's time for battle. Okay, today we're going to be taking a group of interlopers versus the security team set to stop them from happening. The battlefield is set. It's playing a scenario out of the actual core rulebook of Space Weirdos called Objectives, and the 3 black objectives on the board. The team that controls the most of those by the end of the game is the winner. A team controls that objective if they have more miniatures than the opposing team within half stick. I'll be using these sticks for measurement. Once again, this isn't a how play video. I'm just going to play it as if I were playing it solo against myself, playing both sides, and hopefully you'll get an idea how the game works. I'm going to try to talk my way through it, but it's going to be one shot, no edits, as if I'm just pretty much playing it here for you all, and hopefully you'll get an idea of how this great game plays. Okay, so we're going to get started. The objective says that each team needs to roll a d6 to see who deploys first. And it's the interlopers. The interlopers are going to be any dice that has color to it, blue, I think yellow, some black dice. Those will be the interlopers, and anytime I'm rolling for the security team, it'll be the white dice. And so we begin. All right, we are going to, first one deploy is Craig, because he looks like my brother-in-law, and they have to be within a stick from their side. Now this game is recommended to be played on a 2x2 with the amount of points I'm playing here. The interlopers have 83 points in their warband build, and the security team has 80 points in their warband build. But so I'm supposed to be playing on a 2x2 field, but I decided that 22 by 30 inches way I was going to be playing it, and I've played 3 games on these, and it's worked out pretty well. All right, we're going to keep Craig here behind cover. All right, then alternating, we're going to put down Grogan for the security team. So within a stick of their side, he doesn't care about hiding in cover. He is going to go straight for that objective. That's just the kind of guy he is. Okay, so then, now over on this side, I'm going to put Squishy out. Squishy's a really cool floating brain with an energy pistol. I'm going to put him into cover here. Over on this other side, we're going to put out the sniper, Silas. All right. And we're going to put her on the high ground. Now the ridge of this terrain piece here is going to count as cover, and she just about fits right there. Stick in from her side. Okay. All right. Back to the other side. We're going to put down Zarband. He is heavy armor, energy weapons, that kind of guy. He is going to attempt to go for the... I think we're going to take him after the other objective. Okay. Then, on the other side, we've got Slip. He's got a stealth suit, heavy rifle, and he is kind of the infiltrator kind of guy, so he's going to kind of keep an eye on the interlopers as they invade. Put him inside there. And then the leader on this side is Kachak. He's psychic, and he is going to be going undercover over by Squishy behind that crate. And then finally, on the other side, the leader over here, Sezdran, also a psychic leader. He is going to place himself behind the building and be ready to go. Okay, the deployment is done. Now they roll initiative. According to the rules, they each roll 2d6. Neither of my leaders has Tactician, which is a leader ability, which would give them a dice type bonus. That's the way this game works, is if you're rolling, your bonuses generally tend to work with dice types. So for example, we're rolling initiative 2d6 here. If one of them had a dice type boost, they would be rolling d8 versus a d6 instead. Okay, so rolling initiative, 10-7. So Kachak's band, the Interlopers, activates first. This game uses alternating activations, so we'll activate a piece on their side and then activate them all on their side till all of them are done. We are currently moving into the, oh sorry, there are phases. Command phase, where you refresh all of their command points. In each of these teams, with the amount of points that I'm playing, have 2 command points, which I have indicated by these Savage Worlds bennies. And then after the command is the initiative, which we just did. Now it's the activation phase, and this will go until each team has activated all of their minis, and then we go into the maintenance phase. All right, just real quick, the actions that each piece can make is move, aim, shoot, fight, disengage, use a psychic power, recover, stand, or use an item. And hopefully, or you'll probably see most of those before this skirmish is over. Okay, so we begin the activations. I think we're going to try to move Squishy over to that other objective. So they move from edge of the stick to there, have to move in a straight line. Every time they move, they need to have a movement token. Since he moved twice, I'm going to mark him with the gray token. That means he moved twice. His speed is only 2 anyway, so he can't move more than that. Now, he has one more action. Every one of these models has 3 actions to make, but there's nobody in sight, so he's just going to end his activation there. And I believe he's close enough. Almost. Not quite close enough to have that objective secured, but next turn. Okay, so then alternating objectives go over to the other side. I have this die here marking the turns. This is the first turn. You play to 4 turns, or 5 turns, and after the 5th turn you roll to see if it continues or not. Kind of like 8th edition Warhammer 40k had a lot of scenarios like that. Okay, so let's move. Slip. Now, if he's near terrain, that stealth suit activates, and they have to be within a stick to attack him. So he's going to come right to the edge of that resources. He is currently controlling that objective and waiting to see if anybody wants to come challenge him. All right, next up over here. Well, can you see somebody? He does not have line of sight to Squishy. All right, so we're going to activate Craig over here. He's going to try to head for that. He's going to try to head for that central objective. Oh, got to put down my movement token. Two moves. He is blocked from seeing Frogan over there, so no firing shot. Moving towards that objective. Speaking of Grogan, he is going to move. He's going to get right up on that objective. And with a great roar, daring anybody to come near him. He's got 2 movements, both of these guys do. Yeah, he's got his, he's already got his. Zarband is going to move out. And he's going to move up onto, well, he does have aim, so he's going to stop there, aim, and fire at Grogan. Okay, because aim is his second action, so he moved 1. That's the green token for me. Moved 1. It's going to take aim, which is going to shift his die type from a 2d8 firepower to a 2d10. Okay, and then he's firing on Grogan. Grogan is armored up, so he has a 2d10 defense, and he also gets +1 because he's wearing heavy armor. All right. Now at this point we could use command points to up their skills, but we're choosing not to do that. There's going to be a good old firefight. So here we go. Okay, so we got 17 versus Grogan's 11. So the shot was successful. Zarband will roll on the under fire table. The weapon he is using is a energy rifle, and that does not modify the under fire table roll. So we'll roll on the under fire table, and rolled a 9, down and staggered. That sends Grogan down. You move the model down like that, and it also makes him staggered. Now I think I made a mistake, and I think I was supposed to up his die type because he had a 2 movement on the shooting, but I kind of got a little excited, but it's too late. I don't like to back things up like that. So he's down and staggered. Nice shot, Zarband. Okay. Down, he's going to have to use an action to stand up, and staggered is pretty much going to have to use 2 actions to recover. So, or 1 action to recover from staggered, but he has to do that first. Okay, so that brings us now to Sealass can take a shot. She's going to take a shot at Craig. She can see Craig here. Now, Craig has 2 movements. I'm not going to forget this time. Craig has a 2 movement token next to him, so that means that his defense is shifted to die type. So Craig's defense is 2d8, so that's going to pump up to a 2d10. Okay, and Sealass, she is a sniper rifle. She gets to double aim with her weapon. So that's going to shift her firepower from 2d10 to 2d12. Technically, or not technically, you cannot shift past the 2d12. So she's only going to single aim and take 2 shots instead. Sorry, that's what she's going to do. I forgot. Her firepower is so high. Plus, she has a target reticule, which will also give her a +1. So basically there's 2 modifiers in this game. One is shift of die type, and the other kind is an actual +1 to the roll. So she's going to add a +1 to this roll for her first shot. And the aim also only counts for this first shot. She rolled a 21 versus 15 for Craig. So she didn't quite double it. Thank goodness Craig rolled that high, or else he'd be in a world of hurt right now. However, it's good enough for a hit, and it rolls on the under fire table. Now, since she is rolling a sniper rifle, it gets a +1 to the under fire table. So this is her first shot. We're resolving her first shot. So 8, 9. So once again, he got a 9, so he's down and staggered. Red token means staggered. Okay, she's going to take a second shot. Now, because he's staggered, he has a -1 die type to this attack. She goes back down to a 2d10 because her aim only counts for that shot after that. So she's going to fire at the man down there. So she got a 14 versus his 3. Now, that means she tripled his roll. So that means on our shoot action, target rolls of under fire table +2. So she's adding a total of +3. 1 for a sniper rifle and +2 because of her amazing shot on Craig. So she's going to roll 2d6 and add 3. She rolled a 6, which is a 9. Now, another staggered, that's another down and staggered. Since he's already staggered, that puts him out of action. So that mini is removed from the table. Craig, we hardly knew ye. Okay, so Sealass's turn is done. Now we go over there. The last person they have over there is their leader. Now, Kachak, after the demise of Craig, he needs to move. He needs to help with the objective. So he's going to get under cover here, and move a stick, and move a stick. But keeping behind cover to keep away from Sealas, because he's learned his lesson. And he's got a 2 movement token. All right, and finally over here, now, Cesdrin is going to attempt to use his teleport ability and go over there and challenge Squishy, since Kachak has moved towards the middle. So he is going to make a unopposed psychic test. The way that works is he rolls his psychic dice versus a 2d6. So his psychic dice, willpower, 2d10. He also has a psychic focus equipment piece, so that gives him +1 to the roll. Not a die type shift, just a +1 to the roll. And he's going to use a command point to boost his, power up his ability. So his willpower will go to 2d12 versus this 2d6 roll that he needs to roll against. So it's kind of cool. So on these psychic tests, each time the unopposed roll is versus a shifting or a random challenge level. Oh, so he got a 9 +1, 10. He got a 10. And unopposed rolls, I think he has to be equal. If he's equal to, we're good. I can't make an unopposed roll. Roll your dice. If you equal or exceed the roll, or that's the attack. If you equal or exceed the roll, I succeed. So he succeeds, but barely. And he gets to move to anywhere on the board. So he's going to move here. That'll help protect him over there from Kachak, but also get him real close to that objective where he can challenge Squishy. Now, that was... he has a ability, a leadership ability, Sorcerer. Any psychic action he takes only costs 1 action. So he can make 2 more actions if he chooses. But he does not want to reveal himself yet and open himself up to a Overwatch attack. So he's just going to stay there for now. Which now brings us to the maintenance phase. After all minis have been activated, we go to the maintenance phase, and that works thus. First thing you do to check to see if a warband is broken. You check if your warband is broken if a leader is dead, or if you're at half capacity from the beginning number of your warband. So with these warbands of 4, we would begin checking if they lose 2 of them, 2 of their minis models. Double check that real quick. Leaders, or okay, less than was half or less. Yeah, I was right. So 2. So right now, there's no reason to check to see if any of these warbands are broken. So then the next part of maintenance phase is you remove all the movement tokens, not the staggered tokens, but the movement tokens. Okay, I think I got them all. Yep, okay. And now, at this point, both teams could spend a command point to up their initiative roll 1 die type, and I think both teams are going to do that. So they spend there, and Kachak spends 1 over here. So now each of their die types are 2d8 instead. So this is round 2. Okay, here we go. Initiative. All right, once again, Kachak's team wins the initiative. So they will activate the first model first. All right. The leader, Kachak, has an energy pistol. And you can see Grogan down over there. He wants to take a shot kind of finish him off fast. But that might open him up to Sealass. So we're going to have Zarban do it. So Zarban's going to make a move. We're going to activate Zarban. They do not have to move the full set of the stick. I'm going to put him by that terrain. It's going to count as cover. And he's going to take a shot at Grogan. All right, he can aim his energy rifle. So his firepower is normally 2d8. He's going to aim. That makes it a 2d10. Oh, by the way, I keep forgetting about that command phase where they refresh their command points. So this is pretty important for Grogan. So he's going to opt to up his defense to 2d12 by spending a command point. Zarban has the option to do so as well if he would like to, but he thinks he's in pretty good shape with a 2d10. No. He needs to make sure he finishes Grogan, so he's going to spend it on second thought. So that's what we're rolling here. Is he's got an aim, which brings it up to 2d10. The power-up command point brings it up to a 2d12 roll on his shot. Now, the spending command points doesn't take a action, so he will be able to take, he moved one, he aimed, and he's going to shoot, so he only gets one shot. Grogan, though, have to shift him one despite his power-up because he is staggered. So we're at 2d12 versus 2d10, and it's 9 and 9, but Grogan is wearing heavy armor and gets a +1 in his defense roll, so he actually beats Zarban's roll by 1. Now, Zarban had rolled a 1 on one of his dice. His energy rifle would allow to re-roll that, but that was not the case. So Grogan escapes death by the skin of his scales. If scales has skin. Anyway, great. Okay, so that is their activation. Now, it's time to get Grogan up. So he needs to recover. So he has to make an unopposed willpower roll. So he's got a 2d6 versus a 2d6. Hopefully he'll be able to. All right, you got a 10 versus the 3. So yes, so he removes his staggered, and then he uses another action to stand up, and he can take one more action, and I think he's going to take that action to get into some cover and move there between here. This is like difficult terrain right there, so he has to stop him as soon as he hits there, but at least now he's in cover. And he gets a movement token. Standing does not impose a movement token. All right, back to Kachak's team. He is going to try to get Grogan out of there. He's going to use a psychic power of fear on Grogan. So this is going to be a actual psychic opposed roll where Grogan's going to be rolling his willpower versus Kachak's willpower. Kachak has a 2d10 +1 because he also has a psychic focus. So we get that 2d10 together. All right, and Grogan, his will is only at 2d6. Okay, so make sure I'm not missing anything here with the psychic attack. We're ready to go. This is an opposed psychic attack action. Double checking to make sure that is actually the case. Fear, where's fear? Fear is an attack, yes. He's within one stick, and he'll move one stick away if Kachak's attack is successful. He casts fear, wow, 10, 11, and our boy Grogan, stubborn old fool, he rolled an 11 as well. Let me double check the psychic power action chart. He's equal to it. The power fails, no effect. So even with the psychic focus of Kachak, Grogan manages to resist his fear. So that was 2 actions. He has one more action, and he is deciding to retreat a little bit at this juncture of the game because he's too close to a melee combat style miniature. So he's gonna opponent. So he's gonna get over there and get next to that crate, which I count if they're touching, they get cover, which will improve their rolls if they're attacked. I think he's still being sighted by Sealass, but at least he's going to have the benefit of cover, and he's away from Grogan if Grogan activates next turn. So we'll put a green movement token next to check. All right, now it is back to the security team side. Slip is going to move so that he can see. So you can see Warband, but he's moving out of stealth because otherwise he wouldn't be able to see Warband. But he's moved one, so he gets a movement token. And he gets to aim his heavy rifle, and his firepower is 2d10. And Warband's defense, he's wearing heavy armor, so his defense is 2d10 plus 1. And neither of them is using the power-up, so this is going to be mono. Neither of them have at least two movement token means that it modifies this attack as well. All right, so Slip takes a shot, aimed. Oh, I forgot. The aim would have made this 2d12. I'm going to have to reverse that. I'm going to re-roll completely. I forgot about the aim. That moves it up a die type. Sorry. Holy moly. Okay, so 13 defense roll against a 20 attack roll from Slip. However, it's not enough to double that roll, so it is just a hit. Now, the heavy, he gets +1 to under fire on this roll, on the under fire table. So he rolled a 8 + 1, 9, so that is enough to down and stagger Warband. Man, some really crazy under fire rolls today in this game. Okay, so that's the activation for Slip. Move over to Squishy. Squishy's gonna go for it all here. He's gonna attack. The boss man and move up on the objective. And fires his. Well, he's got. That's one action. Check his psychic ability. He does have Mind Stab. I think. So we're going to use the weapon or Mind Stab? Mind Stab. So he's going to make a Mind Stab attack. He uses Psychic ability, so this will count for 2. So his move is 1, and this Mind Stab will be 2 his actions. He's going to fire on Cezdrin with his Mind Stab. But let's think that over, because Cezdrin is a psychic guy, so you know he's going to have a high willpower. You know what? He's going to shoot him with the energy pistol. He's just going to shoot with the energy pistol because he's within range. Because if he's outside of a stick, Squishy would get a negative die type shift, but he's not. So he's gonna go with his pistol. I think that's a better move right now. So Squish shoots the energy pistol. It gets reroll rolls of 1. Now he moved. He can't aim the pistol, but he could take 3 shots with it. But since he moved, that's 2 shots. So he's actually going to be taking 2 shots on Cezdrin, leader of the security team. Okay, so Squishy's firepower is 2d8, rerolling 1s. And Cezdrin's defense is a 2d8. All right, so Squish, you know what? Squishy's going to go nuts and use the other command point to power up his ability. And I think Cezdrin, to be safe, is going to power up his defense, so it's 2d10. So Squishy is rolling a 2d10 versus a 2d10. And re-rolling 1. Squishy is re-rolling 1s. Whoa. So 15, 16. So Squishy beats Cezdrin by 1. So we must roll on the under fire table. There's no plus to this because it's an energy pistol. And a 3. So a 3 on the under fire table allows the defending model to immediately take a shoot action against the attacker of Abel. However, Cezdrin only has a melee weapon and does not psychic powers cannot be used to fire things back like that. So he has to be contented with not taking any negative effects. All right, back to the security team. Sealass, she's going to go for it. She's going to fire on the leader, even though he has cover. So she's going to double aim, which is, no, she's going to aim one and take 2 shots. I keep forgetting her firepower, so you can't go past 2d12. So she's going to aim, which brings her firepower to 2d12, and she has a +1 because she has a target reticule. She gets to reroll firepower rolls of 1 because of the sniper rifle and gets +1 to under fire. Now, Kachak's defense is a 2d8. He no longer has any command points to use to power up or anything along those lines, like a dodge or whatever. So he's going to have to take the result of his attack, and he has a 2d8 defense. All right, here's her first shot. 11 versus a 12 versus 12. And on a shoot roll, if it's equal to the defense roll, it misses. Now her second shot, which will be brought down to a 2d10 because the aim die type shift only counts for the first attack after it. For her second shot, she fires off. She gets a 9 versus a 9. So Kachak stands tall. Oh, and I should have been rolling 2d10 anyway because I had him in terrain. So, well, no harm, no foul. So her turn is done, and then all of the interloper's turn is done. So I believe that's the end of the turn. So we're moving into, we go through the maintenance phase. All right, so no one has lost 2 models, and no one's leader is dead. So we just remove the move tokens. And people decide they're going to spend command points, but the command points have already been spent, so it's going to be a 2d6 versus a 2d6 initiative for round 3. We go into command phase. They refresh their command points. Okay. And initiative. Once again, the interlopers win. They activate first. Well, we're going to try to recover old Zarband here. Boy needs to recover. Come on, dude. All right, so he's going to make an unopposed roll 2d6. I believe I did give Kachak the majestic leadership, so that allows his team to use his willpower roll when they make unopposed will rolls. Anytime a warband has to make a willpower roll, that model may use the leader's willpower instead. So we're going to do that. Try to recover. Very good. So 2d10. And I'm going to count the psychic focus because it does say his will roll. So he gets a +1 to this as well versus a opposed 2d6. Unopposed 2d6. He rolled an 11-12 versus a 7, so he recovers. That's his first action of the turn. Second action is to stand, which sets him ready, and he has a third action he can take. He can see line of sight getting down behind him and looking. He can see Grogan. Grogan is well in that terrain, so he's going to get a boost. Or should he take a shot at, well, that terrain's between him as well. He really wants to take down Grogan. He's got a thing for Grogan. Oops, forgot to remove this movement token. So he's going to fire on Grogan. Now, Grogan's defense is 2d10 with that terrain that die type shifts it to 2d12, +1 because he has heavy armor. But Zarband doesn't care. His firepower is 2d8, rerolling 1s with his energy rifle. And guess that's it unless he powers up. He's going to have to power up to a 2d10, so he's going to spend a command point. Okay. So he's doing 2d10 versus a 2d12. Here we go. So 17 versus a 22. He misses. All right, that's it for Zarband. I'm going to put, to remind myself, I'm going to put this red token next to him to say that he's activated. I'm gonna make sure I don't miss anybody on those. All right, Grogan's getting a little hungry for leader. So to move out of this, he's gonna move out of this. I think it says when they hit difficult terrain, they're supposed to stop moving well, coming out of difficult terrain, to say he stops moving, count that as one movement. And then he's going to make his second move to move up on Kachak. Forget about the objectives. He's going after the leader. However, Kachak does have an energy pistol, so he's going to use his final point this turn to Overwatch, which means that he takes a single shoot action to try to interrupt this. So his energy pistol, by the time Garske moves out of the difficult terrain and has declared his intent, the pistol is at full power. And since his energy pistol gets reroll firepowers of 1. So his firepower is 2d8. Grogan's armor is 2d10 plus 1. Woo! 16 and 10. So the shot does hit. So on the under fire table, there's no modifier to this. It does a 7, which on the under fire modifying table, down. So it does interrupt his attack. He saves himself from Grogan's attack. He gets 1 movement token, by the way. And he's down, but not staggered. All right, so that was his activation. All right, moving over to the other side. Squish is going to take his chances with the leader because the leader didn't run for the hills. Now, he knows that, you know, he's gonna try his mind stab this time. It's going to cost him 2. And he knows Cezdrin is a sorcerer and has psychic powers, but he's going to go for it anyway. He's going to mind stab him. So Cezdrin has a 2d10 plus 1 willpower roll in defense, and Squishy also has a 2d10, but not at plus 1. So we'll see how this comes out. He's going to mind stab. Yee! Brain to brain. 10, 17. He is unable to penetrate the mind defenses of Cezdrin. Now Squishy has to decide whether he wants to move out of there. I think he is. He's going to try to get... He doesn't want to be in line of sight of Cezdrin, so he's going to move there, still be on that objective. And in terrain, and he's in terrain, which will open up to attack from Sealass, but at least he can move over and attack Grogan too if he needs to next time around. So he has activated. Sealass is hungry for that leader. Even though he's in terrain, she's going to fire on him again. Once again, she takes 1 aim. She has a target reticule, which puts her at 2d12 plus 1. Kachak has a defense 2d8, going to shift the die type because I have him on terrain at 2d10. And we're going to fire the first shot. She gets to reroll 1s with the sniper rifle. So it's 17 versus a 13. The shot misses. She shifts down for her second shot to 2d10 versus 2d10. 2d10 plus 1 versus 2d10. And she rolls a 17 versus his 12, which is a hit. So she gets plus 1 to the under fire roll. For 5 on the under fire roll. Run for cover. Defending model must move 1 stick of able. This move may not bring into contact the enemy model. So he is able to get behind some terrain and avoid the shot. So he does. He's basically right there. Good enough. Okay. Okay. Excellent. So that was her move. I will indicate her with the red ruby to make sure that I know she shot, in case I get confused at some point. Not that that happens very often, of course. Slip is controlling an objective and can see Zarban. So he's going to attack Zarban, and I'm giving Zarban cover because he is in those barrels over there. So Slip is not going to move. I think he's going to take multiple shots. He's going to aim his first shot and then shoot a second, very much like Sealess has done. And he's got a heavy rifle, so he gets plus 1 under fire if he hits. As you notice, there's no ranges in this game. Guns can shoot to the end of the board if they need to. Okay, cool. So he has a firepower of 2d10. And Zarband has a defense of 2d10 plus 1 because he's wearing heavy armor. but slips firepower shifted to 2d12 because he's aiming and does not move, so we haven't had to do any move stuff. And he gets 2 actions, or he can take 2 shots. All right, so here we go. First shot, he gets to reroll. No, he doesn't get to reroll 1s, and he misses. And his second shot, shift down to 2d10. There's no aim involved. 9 versus 12. He misses, or 13 misses Zarban, so safe there. And he's taken his 3 actions, so I will indicate that he has moved by using that glass bead. All right, who we got left here? So Kachak and Sezdrin. All right, well, Sezdrin, oh wait, yeah, and it's now Kachak's turn. Kachak wants to try to take down Grogan, since he's seems to be vulnerable. So he's actually going to move back to the same position he was into the terrain, which puts him in range of Grogan for a Mind Stab. Well, he doesn't have Mind Stab. His energy pistol. He'll just fire his energy pistol. Now, Grogan is not staggered, so he does not have a minus to his die type. He has a 2d10 plus 1 defense roll. Kachak has a 2d8 rerolling 1 firepower roll. I'm just going to go straight up. And he rolls an 11 versus an 18 and does not hit. So he moved and he shot, and I think he's going to take another. Can you take 2? Yeah, he's going to take another shot with his pistol. So same thing. 9 versus 11, so he misses again. Okay. And now finally Sezdrin, he's getting a little tired of Squishy here. He's going to move up to that objective, and he's just going to Mind Stab the heck out of Squishy. So, and he's going to use a power-up. So he's going to go to 2d12 on his willpower plus 1. Squishy is at a 2d10. Okay, here we go. Oh, boy. So we've got 8 versus 2. Now, in a psychic power action, it's just greater than, there's no extra thing. So Mind Stab takes effect. Mind Stab is a +3 under fire table roll. So 2d6 plus 3. 6 plus 3 is 9, so that's down and staggered. So Squishy is down and staggered. Now, because he can only use 1 psychic power per turn, and he still has 1 action left because he's a sorcerer and his psychics only cost 1 action, he is going to he within range of, he can cast healing on, nope, he's not in range of Grogan. Well, I guess he could move again. He moved, he Mind Stabbed, and he can move back again. So he's just going to move back in, still be within range of that, and also protect him from, put him in cover, block line of sight. So that's actually 2 move token. Ray. Okay, so now it looks like everybody has activated. So no new models have fallen, no leaders have been killed. Remove the movement tokens and the action beads. Ooh, okay, things are getting intense. All right, so they're going to spend to get a 2d8 on their command, or on their initiative roll, versus a 2d6. Moving into the 4th round, checking the scenario to make sure. At the end of the 4th round, roll d6. On 5+, the game ends. If not, it continues and ends after the 5th round. So, This is it. Getting close to the end. Will the interlopers be able to capture the objectives before the end of the game? Let's find out. Okay, initiative. Here we go. Oh, command points first. Sorry. Refresh command points. Now initiative. All right, to the action. 7-6. So for the first time in the game, the security team wins initiative. Okay. We're trying to solve, this could be the last thing. So Grogan is going to change his tactics. He's going to use an action to stand, move in a difficult terrain and stop, and then difficult terrain. So he made 2 move actions, and that's it for him. All right. Still in terrain. Zarban shoots at him. He'll have a benefit. So Kachak is going to try, he's going to move. There, I guess, and try to use Psychic Fear against Grogan. All right, so he has a 2d10 versus Grogan's 2d6. Grogan wants to stay on there, so we're going to spend a command point to make it a 2d8 willpower. Give him a chance. And it's 13 versus 5, not even close. He moves a stick away from Kachak. Kachak is not close enough to control that objective, but it puts Grogan out in the open. All right, so he did move 1. So movement token goes down there. All right, to the other side. Sezdrin's going to take advantage of this, move to the objective, and mind stab Squish. Now, Squishy has 2d10 willpower, but because he's staggered, it's actually a 2d8 willpower. So it's and he's going to spend his final command point to make it a 2d12 plus 1 willpower versus a 2d8 willpower. Try to take him out. And wow, 6, 7, and Squishy, man. Squishy comes up with the 10. Survives the mind stab. So he actually, Sezdrin took 1 move action, did a mind stab. Can't use mind stab again. So he's going to try to... Guess that's it. He's just going to... Oh, ooh. Let's see if he can use that. What's the range on that psychic ability? Any model on the table. Sweet. He is going to use that ability. He has to roll an unopposed roll. And he's a 2d10 plus 1. 9. Yep. So he got a 10 versus a 6. And he's going to give Sealass plus 1 die type shifts. No, he's going to give it to Slip. Slip needs the die type Slip. So he is boosted. Well, I'm going to put this little. I'm going to put a die next to him to indicate that he's boosted 1 die type. Cool. All right. So Squish is going to try to recover. I mean, this poor guy. So he's got a 2d10 versus a 2d6. And he rolled a 15 versus a 9. So he is no longer staggered. He's going to stand. Now, he can't use his psych ability, but he can use his energy pistol. So he's going to take a shot at Sezdrin with his energy pistol, hoping for that lucky shot to take him down. He's got a firepower 2d8, re-rolling 1s with that energy pistol. And the defense for Sezdrin is a 2d8. So this is pretty much 2d8 on a 2d8, re-rolling 1s for Squish. He re-rolls a 1. It was tied before, but now Squish has passed him. So 9 versus 5. Didn't quite double it, though. And it's just a single roll on the under fire table. And he gets an 8. Oof. An 8 is staggered. Sezdrin is staggered. Now, let me double check to see if staggered counts as controlling an objective. I'm not sure it does. Conditions. Staggered, place a token. Staggered cannot take any actions. Separate cover is not considered to be touching the base of any model in regards to move or shoot actions. I don't know. I'm going to say, I think for now he's still there, but since he's staggered, I think Squish, which is in half stick, yeah, I think it counts as Squish controlling that objective. I think that's the way that goes. If not, please somebody help me in the comments. Okay, so that was Squish's move. Put the little red token to indicate that he has acted. All right, Sealass though. All right, Slip is gonna move into. He's gonna move into here, move closer to objective, and still have line of sight on Kachak. Kachak has terrain, so it's going to boost his defense, but Slip is boosted to a 2d12 firepower. He can aim, but it won't matter. And so that means he's going to take 2 shots instead, because he moved 2 shots. Both of them at 2d12 because he's boosted by his boss. And the defense for Kachak is a 2d8, but it's boosted up to, or die type shifted to 2d10 because he's in terrain. First shot, 10 versus 19, he misses. Second shot, 15 versus a 13, he hits. And on the underfire, he has a heavy rifle, so that's +1 on the underfire roll. And he gets a 9 +1, 10. Uh-oh, out of action. Kachak is down, out in the last round. So he no longer controls that objective either. I don't know if he was close enough to objective anyway, but uh-oh, that's massive. Okay. Now it's back to them. So right now Squishy is controlling that one over there. So it's up to Zarband to get over here to this objective here. He's going to move in a straight line. So he's going to move 1. He's going to move 2 onto that objective. He gets a 2 move. He's going to take a shot at Grogan. Okay, Grogan has moved 2. So that shifts his defense die 1. So Grogan has a 2d12 +1 defense. And Zarband is not going to be able to aim because he moved. And since he moved 2, he has a -1 firepower. So he's at 2d6 +1. We'll see what happens. He's just going to take the shot and see what happens. Ooh, you know what? He's going to boost himself up to 2d8. But he use that command point. Boost himself up to 2d8. All right. So he rolls a 8 versus a 13 and does not hit Grogan. Off his armor, I guess. Okay, so that's his activation, and that brings us to Sealass. She's going to try to take out Squishy. So she aims, brings her up to a 2d12. She's going to take 2 shots for that first shot. Squishy is at a 2d6 defense, so he's going to spend a command point to give it a 2d8 power up. Or no, better to use a dodge. He's going to dodge. Okay, so dodge is when shoot action is declared against him. May spend a command point to move 1 stick. May not come into contact with an enemy model. If the attacker has line of sight, resolve it. If the attacker does not have line of sight, the action is lost. Cannot come into contact with an enemy model. Ooh, where can he hide from Sealass? Oof. Tell you what, he can at least get into some cover, but he wants to stay on that objective. All right, so wow, okay. You know what? He's just going to move here and give himself the benefit of cover. So the action is still going to go off, but at least it shifts his die type to 2d8. So her first shot is 2d12 +1, re-rolling 1s. Oh my goodness. So he rolled about as good as he could get, 16. She rolled a 21. Doesn't double, so that's good. She has +1 under fire because it's a sniper rifle. And 7, 8, which will put him staggered. So he's not down, he's just staggered. And she's going to take the second shot. His die type shifts down now. Since he doesn't have, he still has benefit of cover, so that die type shifts down to a 2d6 in this case, because it was a 2d8. Hers shifts down to a 2, or no, still, yeah, 2d10 +1. So let's see what happens. 13, oh my goodness. So she got a 14, he got a 4. That, 4 times 3 is 12. So she tripled it. So holy moly. So that's +2 on the under fire table from the shooting table, +1 because it's a sniper rifle. So we're at a +3 to this under fire table. And he's staggered. 5, 8, which gives you another staggered. Since he's already staggered, that removes him out of action off the board. C-Last comes through in the end. They should never let that sniper stay up there, but what were they going to do? Kept jockeying for the objective positions, I guess. All right, so that's C-Last. And that's it for round 4. And we roll to see if the game is over. 5+, the game is over. It is not, it continues. I'm not sure that they can win. There's only Zarband left. So he surrenders. So that's the end of the game, or he retreats. That's the end of the game. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did I make any mistakes? What do you guys think of this game? It's a blast to play. It's fast-paced. Love the dice mechanic. And not bad for an amazing $5 Zine. Great set of rules, folks. Go check it out. And this is today on Magehammer's channel, Space Weirdos, my first battle report. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing this time with me. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Magehammer out.